Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. These are the Mercedes GLS pairs. Both of them are petrol. This is a 6-cylinder, this is the V8 of course, but this is the Maybach, and I'm going to quickly tell you the differences between both the cars, and you can already see the headlight is the same. The bumper is also the same, but here you obviously get this sort of a chrome treatment. There you get plastic treatment. This front skid plate which is finished in chrome is also the same here. But this grille is completely different, and obviously you get the Mercedes logo on the top, which is kind of the first time for a Mercedes SUV. But both the cars are the same. In fact, the length is the same, but the height is different. So is the width, because of obviously this is the Maybach, has a lot of interesting bits on it. But for the most part, both the cars are identical from the front, other than the fact that it has more chrome and it looks so much more premium. Meanwhile, on the side you see it gets black colored B pillar as well as C pillar and the chrome lining. Here obviously it gets chrome plating there. Yeah, it gets chrome plating there, and the wheels happen to be bigger as well. These are 22 inches, you can get 23 inches too. Meanwhile, this one is actually running on smaller 21-inch wheels. I don't even know if the word smaller is right here, because 21 is also massive. Well, that's what she said. Alright, from the side, well, the length is the same. Both are obnoxiously long cars. And at the rear, again, there are changes which are pretty much obvious as well, because, okay, first and foremost, here you see plastic cladding. There you get it in gloss black. So they have done their best to make it look premium. In fact, you can see the Maybach logo there. It's not here, of course, it's not the Maybach. And coming to the rear, GLS 450, GLS 600. They've actually written GLS 600 on the right side and the GLS 450 on the left side. Again, the bumper gets this amazing paint finish, of course, but it gets a piano black finish, not the chrome line. This is finished in plastic, or rather not painted here on the regular GLS. Meanwhile, here obviously it's painted and you get more chrome. I mean, there is chrome almost everywhere in both these cars, but the exhaust gets this sort of a finish in between. Not the case here, which means that honestly Mercedes has gone absolutely bonkers in making the GLS look more premium with the Maybach. But let's do one thing, let's remove the GLS 450 and let's focus on the GLS 600 today. Alright, let's straight away open the engine bay of this Mercedes, and there you see it is an AMG motor, but it has the Maybach logo right there. Engine bay is actually quite big here, and there is insulation here, of course, because it's all about NVH levels in this particular car. Let's close this. So you get a Mercedes logo on the top as well, which I don't know how they have managed to circumvent the pedestrian norms, because if it hits a pedestrian, yeah, this is not going to be kind at all. You get this massive Maybach grille. This happens to have 28 slats. However, it's chrome on the front, but behind it is actually plastic. And you see, in terms of design, it's absolutely phenomenal. What is really nice is the fact that this is actually a two-tone paint job, which is optional. Okay, it's actually black lower down. You see, it's black from here and it's maroon on the top, and there's a pinstripe which runs right there. Meanwhile, the alloy wheels, yeah, they kind of mimic the grille of the vehicle, and it has this, you know, nice hubcap as well. Says Maybach right there, of course. Now you can get 23 inches as well. This is 22, which is standard on this car. You know what's the size of the wheels? I mean, of course, the tire size I meant. 285, 45, 22 up front. Meanwhile, at the rear, they are bigger, 325s, 40, 22s. And from the side, look at this car. Okay, it is massive. It's actually 5.2 meters long, more than 5.2 meters long. The wheelbase is more than 3.2 meters. And it's wider by 31 mm and taller by 15 mm just because of the wheels. And it's more than 1.8 meters tall as well. So yeah, the size is absolutely massive. And because it's a Mercedes Maybach, it has got chrome here, a lot of chrome on the car. You get a camera right there along with a projection which projects Maybach right there at night. And you obviously get front parking sensors. You get a front camera as well, and plenty of sensors on this car. They're like a slew of sensors to ensure that it's able to circumvent everything. Okay, I think the best thing is the running board. Whenever you open the door, okay, there it comes out, the running board. The only thing is it cannot be kept out always. That's the reason why it's so dirty. Yeah, this is such a cool running board, and once you shut it, it will go back inside. Side footstep, easy to get in and out. However, it actually lowers itself when you approach the car, so that it's easy to get in and out. And then, you know, right now the ride height is lower, of course. Here is, of course, another Maybach logo. There's so many of them in the car, like everywhere they have boldly gone and said, you know what, you're driving a Mercedes Maybach, you have paid a lot of money for a reason. there's a sort of a blade treatment over the exhaust, and these are real exhaust. Only thing is the exhaust is far behind and this enclosure is there. You get obviously a towing hook, reverse parking sensors. The reverse camera is actually hidden here, which comes out when you get into reverse, of course. Here we're going to open the boot of the car. Obviously it gets electric tailgate, but the boot is kind of useless. It's actually, I think, 525 liters, but you're not going to get any of it because the spare wheel is eating into everything. Now spare wheel is not an alloy, it's a smaller size tire. They cannot fit a full size tire, of course, and the refrigerator takes the other space, and then they have partitioned this completely, so you cannot recline the seats. This is just to ensure that there is no noise coming from behind, because the center row needs to be very silent indeed. Okay, here you see, this is actually to lower the vehicle. It's already lowered, so you can lower the vehicle to just make it easier to put in stuff. Actually, you're not going to be doing it, your chauffeur will probably. And little bit space which I put my drone as well as my gimbal. That's it. That's the amount of space you have. You see those cloths? Yeah, those fluorescent cloths are basically to clean. One second, let me get to that. It's to clean the touchscreen. So these are specific cloths just to clean the touchscreen of the car. And I think there's an extra perfume. The refrigerator is eating into the complete rear seat space. So yeah, rear seat space is not the best. I like the way the logo has been done, and again everything is leather. Yeah, everything, even this is leather. Can you believe it? Even this is leather. And here you can opt for a towing hook, so you press the button and the towing hook comes out from down. That's NSFW, but it doesn't have it right now. Okay, now you see the lining, everything is lined as well just for sound insulation. It's absolutely crazy how much insulation is on this car to ensure that the car is absolutely quiet, and that guy's shirt matches with that microfiber cloth which I was just talking about. Unfortunately, one of the hubcaps has fallen here. That's a very expensive fall, I would say. And there you see it opens again. I love the way this thing opens, and obviously has a logo there too. Now the doors are super, like, they open wide enough, and then I'm not going to compare this car's door with some hatchbacks. Again, you have the logo here. There's so many places. I mean, I'm out of count how many times you can see the logo in this car. Seats are super comfortable. Now they have actually made this either a 4 or 5 seater. This is a 4 seater with a massive center console in the center. Of course, in the center console. Otherwise, you can get a 5 seater as well. This is no longer a 3-row SUV, it becomes a 2-row SUV, and because of which there is additional 93 mm of room in the second row. In fact, the seats recline by up to 43 degrees. That's a lot of recline. Yeah, press this button. Just see the kind of angle it can recline to. Insane. So it's all about the comfort in this particular row, and that's the reason they've done so much sound insulation. You can barely hear anything. I want to recline this, and yeah, there it's reclining. Everything at the touch of a button. The seats are extremely comfortable. In fact, this car has so much leather now, and all of it is Napa leather, and not just like on the seats, it's also there on the roof. Yeah, all this is also leather everywhere, on the door pads. I mean, you just name it, there's leather. And door pockets also massive in terms of size. Burmester sound system, and you can actually option it with 3D sound system as well, with crazy amount of wattage and 26 speakers and whatnot stuff, 29 maybe. Okay, let's close the door here. Yeah, it shuts with the proper third, but you know what, it's obviously got soft door close. So check this out. There it pulls it inside to close the door. Now you've got controls here. Now this is obviously to retract the sunblind. There the sunblind goes down, and they have a sunblind for the rear glass as well. So here you see there's the sunblind which goes in and closes. So everything at the touch of a button. In fact, you never want to get ahead because everything is here right in your hands. Now obviously these are the controls for the adjustment of the seat. This is for heating function, this is for cooling function, and you can obviously control the front seat as well because it's got the chauffeur package. Now press this button there, this seat will actually recline. The front seat will go all the way ahead and make a lot more room. Now it doesn't get a footrest, which it should have. Under thigh support, never an issue. Leg room, knee room, not an issue at all. And there you see this is coming up as well. So much space on offer. I can actually press this button and move this seat all the way ahead even further to ensure that there is so much space on offer, and there is no problem with under thigh support. There's absolutely no problem in leg room, knee room, even like headroom is in plenty. Back support is super duper awesome. So this is a very comfortable car as such. And it again has beautiful ambient lighting. The logo is almost everywhere you name it, the logo is there. And also comes with this really nice soft pillow to get even more comfortable. Okay, here you see there is a lot of wood. In fact, this is for the climate control air conditioning system. It gets a 4-zone climate control AC. I'm just going to turn that off for a moment. Below here you get twin cup holders, which gets the cooling as well as the heating function as well. And when you turn on heating, it turns red, and when you turn on cooling, it turns blue. And these are champagne holders which slot right into place. Now since I turned on the AC at the rear, the front AC is making a lot of noise, and that is, yeah, that is pretty loud. It is, yeah, quite loud as such. However, they've actually worked to make it silent. When you compare to the GLS, the sound isn't as much. Okay, there's a hook right there, and I can actually close the sun blind from here itself, so the control happens to be right there. I can obviously control both the rear power windows from here as well as the sun blind. So I'm just going to open the sun blind right now, and you know, the reason is that it brings in a lot of light. It's a massive panoramic roof, but it's got ambient lighting there as well. Ambient light is almost everywhere. There's a microphone over there, and there's an AC vent rear side as well, and it says airbag right there. It's an 8 airbag system. Okay, this car weighs a lot of weight, I mean, because there's so much wood, so much insulation in this vehicle. Is absolutely crazy. Okay, there's a wireless charging pad along with 2 USB-C charging ports as well, and below here there's a refrigerator. Again, the logo is right there. Look at the finishing of this, is beautiful. Again, logo, and here are 2 champagne fruits which can be kept. Again, the lining is so nicely done. Okay, this is actually to turn on the refrigerator. You have got 2 settings for the same, and there is the refrigerator. I think it's big enough. Okay, there's storage space here. They put storage space in almost every place where you would not even expect it to be. Now what you're going to do is we are going to get that seat back. Okay, just going to get that seat back. The good thing is that everything is in the control of the person sitting at the rear. Like, the full focus is at the rear seat experience in this Mercedes. There's a 7-inch Samsung tablet, which is from Samsung, of course, and I press a button and there it comes out. Now you've got all the controls in this tablet. Yeah, almost all the controls in this tablet. Yeah, right from temperature to, I mean, comfort, which is obviously for the ambient lighting as well as for the massage functions. And you see there are plenty of massages as well. So you can access all of them from the rear: hot, activating massage, relaxing massage, classic massage, whatever. Okay, we're just going to put this back into place because you can access the same from these screens. Now this is an 11.6-inch screen. It's not standard. It's part of optional equipment. You get 2 of them on both the sides, and you can control navigation and ambient lighting and everything from here. I don't even understand why you need to go to the front. Yeah, all the massage functions here. You can get into seat settings. These are the ambient lights. 64 colors for the ambient lighting. Ambient lighting is absolutely beautiful, and you can control the sun blind as well, open all and close all. So I mean, it's so fantastic. The rear seat experience, mind-blowing to say the least. Okay, in fact, it also has heating function for under the floor, which we'll talk about once we get ahead. Okay, there's magazine holder. It doesn't need a scooped out seat back. It doesn't have it. You have AC vents on the B pillar, height adjustable seat belts at the front as well, and see the treatment to the speakers is really very premium. There's light on the top, and there's a handle to hold on to, which is obnoxiously long. That's what she said. AC vents, of course, and the quality of the cabin is absolutely surreal. Everywhere I touch, I'm like, oh my god, this is expensive, and this is even more expensive. I love the way the ambient lighting has been done. In fact, the ambient lighting at the rear is so good. It's so good. It's so many colors. At night, it looks absolutely fantabulous how it makes a complete shape. Of course, the dashboard design is the same as the Mercedes GLS. However, again, there is plenty of leather and Napa leather everywhere. Getting in and out is absolutely effortless. In fact, check this out. Okay, seat is reclined, seems super comfortable with the footrest actually, you know, extended. So under thigh support, not a problem, although a proper footrest should have been there, which should have extended out from there, which is not the case. I think that could be probably optional. And see, soft door close, this is how it works. There it pulls it inside. Now the funny thing is that you can option this car up to rupees 4 crores. Yeah, there's so much optional kit. Okay, let me show you the roof of the vehicle. That is the roof of the vehicle. It is so tall, and it is not even right now on a higher height. Okay, you've got roof rails, of course. Now, when you put optional kit, the price of this car can go up to 4 crores. Otherwise, it's 2.76 crores. Coming to the main door, of course. All the doors have a request sensor, and I love the way the footrest comes out. Again, you've got this Maybach written right there. Door pockets are large enough. This is to open the boot of the vehicle. Metal switches, these are the controls for the power window. These are the controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. And these are the controls for, okay, this is to control that seat. You can actually control the seat from here itself. Yes, the driver can control the seat. The rear seat passenger can control the seat. The co-driver seat, of course, which means this is the worst seat to be in because people are going to play with it. Okay, you've got memory function, which is there on all the seats. You've got heating, you've got cooling. I mean, this is heating, this is cooling. You've got it on all freaking doors. You can turn on the co-passengers cooling and heating from here itself. So all the controls are in the hands of the driver, and the co-passenger is at the mercy of the driver as well as the rear seat passenger. Metal pedals again with the logo right there, and the carpets are a little dirty right now, okay, and these are expensive carpets, very soft and smooth, but I can't put my hand in it right now because obviously it's kind of soiled. And the front seats are massive in terms of size, really well done, super supportive, super comfortable. You see there's so much leather everywhere with white stitching, of course, but this does not spin like is the case with the old Mercedes S-Class Maybach, which obviously has the Burmester sound systems, tweeters spinning all the time whenever you turn on and off the music. Look at that level of attention to detail on this car. Absolutely stunning to say the least. They've taken the best of material and put it in this car. These are the controls for the headlights. This is for the fog light, and this is for the electric parking brake. Now you see this wood treatment. It is actually, you know, similar to what you see on a yacht. Yeah, because I think people who buy the Maybach also have a yacht. I don't think that's the case in India though. Anyways, here you see soft door close, just close the door, okay. Leather everywhere, there is leather, and of course you've got a mirror along with a light, and you just open this and you realize there's another sun visor, okay, so that the sun doesn't bother you when you're in your expensive Mercedes car. There's light placement on the top, of course, and there opens the sunroof. The sunroof is actually quite big. Yeah, the sunroof is actually quite big. Brings in a lot of airy feeling. I love the fact that how Mercedes has put so much attention to all the details in this car. It's absolutely stunning. What's even more stunning is the fact that they've not spared any place to put leather. Okay, obviously they've put it on the roof. Leather is there. It's there on the complete dashboard. In fact, it's all soft touch everywhere you touch. There is no hard plastic in this car at all, and beautiful finishing here. You got 4 vents in the center, 4 of them. These are the controls for the air conditioning, and again there is wood. Let's open this. There's a wireless charging pad here along with 2 USB-C charging sockets, and there's a 12-volt charging socket as well, along with cup holders. Now these can be heated as well as cooled, and when you press the button, accordingly the light also changes. You can see that. So in cooling it's blue, in heating it's red. This is another very cool feature of this car. Alright, and these are actually the controls for the, obviously, the MBUX system. It's a touchpad right there. This is for navigation and map, this is for radio, this is for telephone, this is for volume control, and this is for the drive mode selector. This is for the camera, and this is basically to get into the car function in the screen, and this is a button you can assign to anything. So let's get into the cameras. It obviously gets self-park, which also works beautifully well. Considering this car is so huge, you really need that feature to help you park very easily, and it does it very nicely as well. The good thing is that whenever it actually judges that you are touching the steering wheel, it shows it in the heads-up display that you know what, you are touching the steering wheel. Get your hands off it, your hands are shown in red. And this particular heads-up display is very advanced. We'll come to that in a bit. You see this control, press this button, and there the front center armrest opens. Another USB-C here, another storage space right there, and it's a decent size space. In fact, the glove box is also decent size, but this is for the perfume, the air fragrance of the car. Yeah, that is the air fragrance. Oh my god, it smells really very nice. There's some amount of storage here as well. So yeah, it's a big enough glove box. Meanwhile, I was talking about the heads-up display, okay? The heads-up display is so advanced, it actually even shows you front and rear parking sensors. Okay, so everything is in your line of sight. Auto-dimming inside rear view mirror. It says Me and SOS because it obviously has Mercedes-Me connected car tech with a slew of features. Again, the logo is right there, and this is just so that you can put your hand conveniently. Now there are 4 buttons. This is to lower or increase the ride height of the car. Actually there are 5 buttons. This is for the suspension. You can change that mode as well. And this is for manual mode, although it doesn't give you complete manual control of things. This is for traction control, and this is for downhill assist. Now everything feels so easy to operate. First and foremost, let me get out of this system. We'll get into reverse right away. This is the reverse parking camera. It gets a 360-degree view and multiple views as well. So there are multiple views for the 360-degree parking camera, which is a very important camera in this car, considering, I mean, it's very important because the size of the car is massive. Meanwhile, let's get out of this system. Okay, there are a lot of buttons. This is for actually the access height. It says lower when entering. Now this happens to be the button for tow away protection. This is for some interior motion sensor, and this is for active steering assist. This is for the heads up display, and this is for lane keep assist. Meanwhile, this is for the parking sensors. Now you can get into assistance. There's something known as off-road assist. You have to be in drive mode. So we are here right now in drive mode, and then you have to get into off-road mode as well. So here we are into off-road mode as well. And of course, then you can get into off-road assist, free driving mode, and then you can start bouncing like this. Okay, here you see, can you see the car is bouncing right now? So this is the coolest feature of this Mercedes car. You know why? Because e-active body control gives this bounce function. although it might signify something wrong to people outside who might be wondering what is happening inside the car. So we're just going to stop it for a moment. But this is a super duper awesome feature of this Mercedes car. And then you have got all the like active lane keep assist, active brake assist, attention assist, active blind spot assist, all the features right there in your hand. Coming into vehicle, again you have all the features, including something known as panel heating. You can actually heat the panels of the car, which is not so practical in India, but abroad where it's like cold weather and winter, there you can heat panels just for that nice comfort feeling inside the vehicle. But what I personally like the most is, of course, ambient lighting in this car. You get 64 colors for the ambient lighting. In fact, ambient lighting is so beautiful now. Check this out. Look at the way the ambient light looks at night. Looks absolutely sensational. Even when you like decide that you want to see multiple colors, there's something known as color mix, which keeps changing the color. And when you're driving this car, there's a feeling of just absolute madness. They've worked so hard on the NVH. Even these AC vents which you see, they have been worked upon, and it is so clever that it realizes what is the outside temperature if the sun is coming from here, of course, and it can adjust the AC vent accordingly to ensure there is absolute silence inside and the right temperature as well. Now, there's something known as Energizing Comfort, which is like a program which helps you soothe down. When you start it, it actually, it does some weird stuff, and it talks and it turns off the air conditioning. It turns on the air conditioning. It's for 10 minutes, and it's just like maybe meditation. You can call it meditation. We're going to turn off the air conditioning. Conditioning started on full blow all of a sudden. And then there is something known as Energizing Coach. You have a coach which will actually help you become better in terms of being more calmer. But I think if you have a Mercedes-Maybach, you already are very calm. Honestly, you are just overreacting probably. Okay, it says no phone connected, but pulse rate and history can be monitored here. Okay, it's making some noise because the rear AC, actually the rear AC is on. It's turned on the seat ventilation. We turn off that because it makes quite a bit of noise. Now, this instrument cluster is super duper awesome. Now, this is a 12.3 inch screen. This is also a 12.3 inch screen. And we are just going to browse through it. It's super advanced. Now, this is the Maybach cluster, which looks super awesome. You can browse through the left point as well. You can browse through all these three screens. So there are three different parameters in the screen, 1, 2, and 3. And here you can browse to see what you want. And there's obviously an inclinometer as well. Okay, yeah, there's an inclinometer. Look at that inclinometer. Oh my goodness, this is so freaking awesome. What you're going to do is we're going to get into the different modes. There's, an excess of information on offer right here. In fact, you know what? All of the browsing parameters are different. So when I go to the tachometer and browse, what I see is very different from what I browse from the speedometer, of course. That is the map of the vehicle. This is the G-force meter. Oh my goodness, this is so freaking awesome. It tells you how much power and torque and where the power and torque is going. And obviously it's a 4-matic system which can actually channel power to independent wheels and 100% to the front or the rear depending on the driving situation. Okay, it's showing the suspension ride height and whatnot. This is so cool. I'm out of words. This is not even the S-Class, and just imagine so much stuff is there. And the new S-Class is loaded with even more stuff. You get into sport display, both the displays change their color, sort of yellowish. And again, you can browse through the multitude of information. This is an information overload, to be very honest with you guys, but I think the best display happens to be the classic Maybach display. Otherwise, you guys will like progressive as well. And when I get to progressive, again, you see both the screens actually change their color to super loaded. Now, the audio system on this car is a 13 speaker unit. It's from Burmester. It has, I think, 590 watts. It's a very nice audio system. In fact, when you're driving at night, listening to music and experiencing the beautiful ambient lighting, this is actually the time where you would just want to relax in the day. In fact, listen to this audio test. Don't you think the audio quality is absolutely phenomenal? The only cheap bit here is this plastic lever, okay, this is obviously for the gas selector. This happens to be the wiper as well as the viper control as well as the indicator. Again, this is plastic. They've put some amount of chrome, but it just doesn't cut it in. They should have actually put metal or maybe leather, because it just looks a little, I would say, cheap. Now the wipers work really well. It has got something known as magic vision control. You see the water is actually coming out from the wipers itself. Yeah, you cannot see where the water fluid is coming out from. That is a level of advancedness. And this is actually the button for the rear wipers. Can you see the rear wiper? I know. I'm sorry. It is like 5 kilometers ahead, the rear wiper, but still it works brilliantly well. So it has got adaptive headlights. The headlights are really very advanced on this car. Again, full LEDs, multi-beam, and it can project up to 650 meters ahead. And if there's someone, like if you see that person is standing right there who's right inside, the light will put high beam around him and ensure that he is not blinded. That is a level of attention to detail which this Mercedes-Maybach offers. Funnily enough, this engine can actually shut 4 of its cylinders to ensure that it's conserving fuel when you're not driving it hard. And you will not drive this car hard because it's all about comfort and luxury. Even the windows are like so thick. Look at the thickness of these windows. Again, this has been done purely for better insulation inside this vehicle. Attention to detail. Oh my God, Mercedes, you have absolutely nailed it there. And then, of course, it's also got voice commands. Hey, Mercedes.
How can I help?
I am feeling stressed.
Here is what I found. Which one should I select?
I am feeling stressed and this person wants to take me to a bank. That's kind of funny. Okay, it's okay. Don't talk more, because whenever you talk, you actually make me panic. So you got beautiful navigation system as well. Look at the navigation. In fact, you know, I was hoping to get the command controller, which is missing here, so I could just browse through. But then I can just zoom in, and yeah, it's a beautiful screen, beautiful system, very fast, very slick indeed. And the best thing is you've got information which tells you how much power and torque you're consuming in real time for the engine. That's nice. And then for the vehicle as well, you can see how much power, I mean gas and brake you're applying right now. I'm not applying any brakes. It's still saying 18% brakes are being applied. That's kind of weird. Okay, you get an off-road score too. That's awkward. Okay, that's very challenging and competitive. And you've got the usual Mercedes affair, which you've seen in a ton of Mercedes cars, because the same MBUX system, which is one of the slickest around, is there almost everywhere. But how is it to drive? Well, let's start. I mean, I just press this button, this SOS thing open. We just close that and let's start driving right away. Oh, by the way, there's also a fire extinguisher right here. And you know what? Tables, of course. You want to see the tables? Well, they are below right this place. Okay, you open this and they are the tables which open like this. Yeah, that is so cool. So that when you go, you can work inside the cabin, of course. But a little flimsy tables nonetheless, still super duper awesome. You're having these tables. Let's shut it, put it back, and there's even more storage space. The kind of storage this car has is absolutely crazy. And a 1230 watt charging socket where you can charge your laptop. So yes, those tables are very much functional. Obviously, this car could take a few more features from this one, the Mercedes S-Class. Let's start driving right away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning off. We get out of this massage function and we get into info, because we are going to turn on the engine data. Here it is. The engine data is telling how much power and torque is being consumed in real time. We are going to get into sport mode, and I'm also going to turn off traction control, although that's going to be useless. Traction control is off as well. Alright, into drive mode, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard light off, revving the motor, revs till 2,500 RPM. That is so effortless. The performance is absolutely effortless. Now this is a Maybach which is actually powered by V8 engine, and we all are used to having V12s, but anyways, still it gets EQ boost, so that kind of does the job. So this is a 4-liter bi-turbo engine, of course, which powers a slower Mercedes cars, but here it gets EQ boost, and it's not the most powerful as such when you compare it to the whole GLS lineup. It's actually based on the GLS 580, although the GLS 63 AMG is still the more powerful version of the Mercedes GLS. Now, performance is absolutely smooth and refined. It produces 557 horsepower between 6 to 6,500 RPM. Meanwhile, the torque output, which happens to be a colossal 730 Newton meters, it comes in between 2,500 to 4,500 RPM, and you're like, that's a little higher end, higher up in the rev range. No problem. It's got EQ boost, which gives an additional 22 horsepower and 250 Newton meters, which actually takes care of the low end of the rev range. The result is that drivability is great. It gets away very quickly right from get-go, and obviously super smooth, super refined, because obviously it's a Maybach. So Mercedes has gone ahead and actually insulated everything so well you can barely hear anything inside the cabin. But yes, get onto the throttle in sport mode, you can hear the motor get vocal, you know, in the higher end of the rev range, which is actually nice. You don't need it, but still you get that. So what you're going to do is you're going to change the display of the cluster. We are going to come to this was the classic one, which is really very nice. We're going to go into sport right away, and I'm going to get manual on the gearbox as well. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour actually takes 4.9 seconds, which is decently quick for a car which weighs almost 3000 kgs. So yeah, it's very slick. In fact, the top speed happens to be 250 kilometers per hour, which is quite a lot, and you wouldn't be going to that speed at all in this luxury barge, because it's all about comfort and luxury, not about speed and performance. Yet it has so much grunt on offer somehow, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now the gearbox happens to be a 9-speed torque converter unit, which is decently quick with shifts, but speed is not the criteria here. Okay, you saw that is the active brake assist. Speed is not the criteria here. The criteria instead here is about smoothness and refinement, and nobody should know that the car is being driven at whatever speed it is being driven. So now let me tell you that it has a fuel tank capacity of 90 liters, and the fuel economy should be between 5 to 9 kilometers per liter, again depending on your driving style. That EQ boost with that 48 volt mild hybrid tech ensures that efficiency is better, and overall CO2 emissions also reduce in this car, which is quite crucial considering the massive footprint that this vehicle has. That said, you know, it doesn't get manual control on the gearbox somehow. I don't know, I put manual mode here, it says M there as well, and obviously I'm using paddle shifters right now to shift, but it still shifts as per its own liking. Okay, it's got a slew of safety tech. Firstly, it's got airbags, and then it's got active brake assist, which you already saw. It's also got lane keep assist, which is super duper awesome because it also shows it in the heads up display when you're going out of a lane, and it pulls you back into a lane. It's got steering assist as well. Mercedes has thrown everything and the kitchen sink in this car. It's absolutely loaded, and the steering wheel is actually quite easy to twirl. In spite of the size, you don't feel the size of this car. The steering is very easy to twirl. The horn could have been a little bit, I would say, punchy. It kind of feels slightly meek for a car which is so huge in terms of size, and you want to make a quick overtake, no problem. It absolutely lunges ahead like it's nobody's business. Then of course it's also got this blind spot monitor on the mirrors. So in terms of safety, there are so many things in this car, absolutely fantastic. But I love the way this car performs. It's like something which will not tell you that it's going to absolutely rocket ahead, but it does, and it does so with so much enthusiasm. You're left baffling, thinking what just happened. That is a level of grunt on offer. Now of course, you know, it has got multiple drive modes. It's got 6 drive modes to be precise, and here we've hit a sort of a roadblock. Anyways, the 6 drive modes, basically what they do is alter the engine, the suspension, because it's got adaptive dampers, it's got self-leveling air suspension as well. It also alters the ESP and the steering wheel. Now the 6 modes are really funky. You would never hear that in any other car. Firstly, there's the individual mode, which obviously is there in a ton of cars. Other than individual mode, oh my god, it's bouncing even before I started to make it bounce. Okay, other than the individual mode, there happens to be a sport mode, there happens to be a comfort mode as well, and then there's an off-road mode, which is, I think, works below 100 kilometers per hour to ensure that off-road, the traction control system has been calibrated accordingly to ensure that it doesn't get stuck anywhere, and the steering wheel feels lighter, and the engine performance is such that, you know, it's much more easier to put all that power down in tricky situations. However, there's also a Maybach mode. What the is that? Well, it's a mode wherein the car ensures that the priority is the rear seat passengers, wherein it will give power delivery in a little meek manner. It will not jump off the line. It will be smoother in terms of power delivery. It will upshift earlier as well, and it will just contain the noise and vibrations inside the cabin to ensure that the rear seat passengers get the VIP treatment which they paid for with this vehicle. And then there's a curve mode as well, which actually leans the suspension by up to 3 degrees around a corner like a motorcycle to control body roll. Otherwise, yes, this car has plenty of body roll, which is expected considering there is so much girth to lug around. But yeah, that also works brilliantly well. Brakes perform super duper awesome. There's so much stopping power. Thankfully, most of it is also because of the massive size of the tires, which offers so much grip. It's absolutely baffling to say the least. What we're going to do is we're going to change the cluster mode again, and here I'm going to come into styles and displays, come into progressive, which is also a nice looking unit, and everything changes accordingly. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, driving the motor. Now, in spite of that EQ boost, now there's a slight lag when you get onto the throttle. I think that has been done intentionally to ensure that, you know, nobody's drink gets spilled inside the cabin. Not the drivers, other people who can drink, because it obviously gets a champagne flute and a refrigerator and whatnot. So yes, this is a car which is happy doing 250 kilometers per hour all day long. And the ride quality, oh my god, it is absolutely sensationally beautifully awesome. You know, it absolutely glides on the road. What a ride in spite of the massive wheels. How does Mercedes achieve that? Obviously, that 48-volt mild hybrid system also is part of the electronic active body control system, which uses that 48-volt system to adjust the rebound, the damping, and increase or decrease the height of individual wheels independently. And it can even make it bounce to ensure that the car rides flat and beautifully well. And all this is actually paired to a radar system, which you can see somewhere here. It's there, radars and cameras and ultrasonics, whatnot. Everything together works brilliantly well to read the road surface ahead and ensure that, you know, it already adjusts the suspension even before you reach there, so that you have an absolute magic carpet ride. And magic carpet ride it is, because this car absolutely glides. What a ride quality is. Sensational the way it rides. So smooth, so refined, and you don't hear anything inside the cabin because there's such great insulation. My goodness, insulation levels are just next level. Okay, here we go. Driving the motor. This is a car where there's no road noise or wind noise or tire noise. There's just that engine noise from that V8 motor, and of course it has to be V8 because, come on, yeah, you have the best of everything. You need a powerful engine as well. That said, the steering wheel is surprisingly awesome. It's so well made. It's light at low speeds, but as you increase the pace, it just keeps getting better and better and better, offering great high-speed stability. Now, of course, because it's got air suspension and all those things, it's also smart enough to know that it needs to decrease the ride height once you hit high speeds. Yeah, around 120 kilometers per hour, it reduces the ride height even further. And actually, if you put it into sport mode, it already reduces the ride height. So the air suspension is a great boon here, because it realizes when it needs to adjust the ride height of the car. In fact, it's got something known as access height. When you are entering the car till 30 kilometers per hour, it lowers it. I mean, when you're entering, just so that it's easier for you to get inside. And I mean, there's so much technology in this Mercedes car. It's difficult to say it's just a GLS with more features. No, it's much more than that, honestly. But here is the tricky part, because the price of this car is rupees 2.76 crores on road Mumbai. That is a lot of money. Of course, it's a lot of money, but you know what's the price of the GLS 400D? I think around 1.22 crores. And the GLS 450 petrol, well, that's around 1.24 crores. If you add both these cars now, you still save 30 lakh rupees when compared to the Maybach alone. So yes, you can get two GLSs for the price of one Maybach and still have rupees 30 lakhs change. That is awesome. So easy to actually make a U-turn or drive this car, but parking can be an absolute bitch, because honestly the size is just too much to handle in any given situation. What Mercedes has done is given the GLS an opportunity to compete with the Bentley Bentayga as well as the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, and it manages to fight on its own because it's just so splendid. Great performance, great tech, lot of features, handles really nicely, and an excellent ride quality as well. Feels quite special too. So Mercedes has hit the ball out of the park with this car. It's so mind-blowingly phenomenal. I'm out of words. That's how much praises I am for this Mercedes Maybach GLS 600 4MATIC bi-turbo V8 along with the EQ boost. I know it's a long name, but I enjoy saying it all the time. Now, of course, it goes without saying that performance is dulled down in other modes when compared to sport mode. Sport mode really feels very punchy indeed. It actually tells me gear position indicator in the heads-up display. That heads-up display is so amazing. Now, it tells me so many things, yet unfortunately, it doesn't give me manual control of things. In fact, I don't think Mercedes wants Maybach drivers to actually get manual control, because they don't really want the rear seat passenger to be disturbed at all. It's all about the convenience of the rear seat passenger with silence. The only noise you hear is the purr from on that V8 motor, which punches so hard now. Maybe a 6-cylinder engine is the need of the hour, because this seems to be too fast for a Maybach. Honestly, who's going to take their SUVs to such speed? Well, people are. So guys, this is my vlog of the Mercedes Maybach GLS 600. I think it's a fantastic car, superb ride quality, brilliantly engineered, loads of features, excellent quality, lot of attention to detail, and a ton of safety tech as well. See, there you go, talking about safety tech, there it makes that noise. I don't know if you can see that triangle in the heads-up display, but this is such a loaded vehicle, such a joy. Wow, I'm in love. Bye-bye.